Hey sports fans, Coach Nick here and welcome to B-Ball Breakdown. I am extremely excited to have Coach Sharman White with us, who is the head coach at Miller Grove, the Miller Grove Wolverines that are located in the metro Atlanta area of Georgia. But he's also the assistant coach of USA Basketball for under 16 and 17-year-olds. So there's a lot of resources here to talk to you about, Coach, and thanks for coming on the show first.
Thank you for having me. Very excited to be here.
Well, let's just jump in with, where did you start? How did you get your first, coaching basketball knowledge?
Actually, I started off in the middle school. I coached middle school for 6 years. Learned a lot of foundational stuff. And it was at a time when I was very eager to learn and very eager to try to get better and trying to perfect that craft. And so I was able to, had a lot of, stumbling blocks, but was very successful at the same time. And so did 6 years on the middle school level. And at the same time, I was also assistant at the high school in the feeder area of where I was coaching at in the middle school. And so I was getting the high school experience as well. And so finally, after the 6 year, after going into my next year, I was hired as a head coach at Carver High School in Atlanta, Georgia, and took a team that had won 3 games prior to the year of me getting there. And we came within 2 games of winning the state championship my first year. And then we went on and had 2 more good years there. And the final year there, we lost in the state championship game. And that's when all the offers started coming to come to different schools. And I chose Miller Grove because it was a brand new school, a brand new program. I could build a program from the ground up, whereas before I kind of took a program and had to, rehab it and, change the culture of it. And so this time I got a chance to build it from the ground up so everybody that walked through the door knew exactly what their expectations were.
Let's talk about that transition when you first took over a team that had won, 3 games the year before and went as far as you did. First of all, what division were you guys in? And I don't know, how does the state of Georgia work with divisions and size of school?
Well, it's based on the enrollment number. We were at that time, that school was a 2A school, which meant it was probably on the smaller scale. But the competition was very, very strong. I had some great players in it. Mike Mercer that went on to play for University of Georgia and South Florida. Corey Gibbs that went on to play for University of Georgia. Just a lot of good players and a lot of good coaches. So it was a good training ground, I would say. But again, going to Carver was just an experience that I really, really needed. And at the time I couldn't understand why I had to get my first coaching job at a school that had won 3 games prior to. But once I got there and got my feet wet and got entrenched in what I was doing, it made for a good thing.
So there must have been something you did. Do you have some extra players that came in, or what do you think happened that changed the culture so quickly?
No, actually, the kids just, it was just a matter of, the kids that were there were really good players, but they just, nobody just kind of took them hands on. And, these guys, they wanted to win, but they just need to be shown how to win. And, just kind of putting in that hard work, that giving them a good work ethic, giving them a good foundation for what hard work means and what it would translate to. And then also at the same time, cultivating them and giving them different experiences, going to team camp and taking them out of town. Took them to Florida State for a team camp, which is something they'd never done before. And just giving them different experiences and opening their eyes to, what that round ball can do for them and how it can take them all over the world. And they bought in and, they really played hard for me. They were very loyal. And it just made for a good combination. And we started off very slow. We lost our first 6 games, and there was some doubt and all that stuff, but they believed in me. And they believed in what I was telling them. And, by the end of the season, we had got it going, and nobody wanted to play us. And we upset a couple of number 1 seeds. And like I said, we came within 2 games of winning the state championship.
How quickly was your coaching style or system perhaps solidified from when the time you took over? Did you completely revamp when you got to Miller Grove, or are there a lot of similar things that you did in the beginning that you do now?
There are some similar things, but there are a lot of different things as well, because I've grown as a coach since then. I was kind of like a newbie, green, as I would say, in a situation where I were at Carver. I had coached middle school, but coaching high school was a little bit different, a lot more competitive, a lot more things on the line, kids trying to get scholarships to continue to play basketball. So a lot of other intangibles that came into play. But when I got to Miller Grove, I had grew a little bit as a coach. And over the years, I just kind of evolved. I just continued to try to better myself. I speak at a lot of the Nike clinics And so I'm also attending clinics. I'm also looking at B-ball breakdown and watching you break down the Spurs. When the year they beat Miami, I mean, I watched that whole breakdown. I got great stuff, and so we even implemented some of those things, And so it's just things like that that help me, try to perfect this craft and get better at it. But again, I try to adapt to my players. I don't really have. I don't like to say I have a particular system. I just try to adapt to my players. If I got like I've had big teams, I've had teams that were guard oriented, and I think it's just a matter of trying to get the thing that works best with that team.
We talk a lot about part method and whole method and how you like to teach and how coaches do that and implement their styles, their systems. Would you say that you fit into a certain structure of whether you are a part method coach where you break everything down in the beginning, or are you more of a whole method?
I'm a part method. I really like teaching the parts to the whole, because I think that's more conducive to our kids, the way they take it in. I think they really understand it better when you start breaking it down part by part. And like, for example, if we're teaching a defense and we're building up to a press, we're teaching a pressing defense. We build it up. We start off with 2-on-1 and things of that nature, but we try to build it up and then we put it all together, and it works really, really well for our particular program. And our kids tend to learn better, I think, in that particular situation. But I think you got guys that do it whole method, and I've seen successful guys that way. But for us and for myself, I prefer the part method.
Sure. I mean, I go back to Pete Newell is my idol, who I kind of tried and patterned as much as my stuff after, who, was the kind of guy who John Wooden couldn't beat him the last, eight times they played. And he was always the guy that didn't have a lot of talent, but he did the part method, and he always built up his offense 2-on-2, 3-on-3. So it's always encouraging to hear success with that method as well. Because I agree. I think in this day and age, the kids with attention spans, it's not only easier for them to take smaller chunks and build from there, but I also think you can't really hide in a 2-on-2 or a 3-on-3 drill, right?
Exactly.
You can't screw up the footwork and get away with it so easy.
Exactly. I mean, especially when you're talking about defensively, you're teaching ball screen defense. You got two guys on 2 versus 2. I mean, guys are going to be exposed in the ball screen, and so that's what you want, so you can teach it. But again, that's just the way we do it. I love it.
So you've been there for a while. You've had tremendous success. What do you think your future lies in store for you?
You know what? I'm just kind of taking it as it is. I would love to, get to another level of this. Meaning, I see myself wanting to coach college as well as maybe even do some things in the pros. But I'm just taking it one day at a time and just seeing where it leads to. Just going to continue to try to work and get better at it till my time comes. And if I get that call, I'm going to be, more than ready to go. And again, just trying to get all the valuable experience I can. And then, like I said, it's really fun. It's fun for my family. It's fun for the kids I coach. And so again, I don't look at it like I have a job. I look at it like it's more like a ministry to me. I go to life. I don't go to work. This is what I wanted to do. This is what I've been wanting to do. So it's just a great situation. I'm just passionate because this is my passion.
Do you have kids? Do they play?
No, I have younger kids. I have really younger kids. I got a 5-year-old daughter and a 3-year-old son. So they enjoy coming. My little daughter cheers at the games, and my son loves to come. I think he'll finally be ready to sit on the bench this upcoming season. He's not ready yet. He's not ready to sit still and just kind of watch the game. So I think this year he'll be ready, and so he'll sit on the bench. But getting them involved and just making it a family affair. My wife comes and just making it a family affair, making them involved as much as possible.
Well, that sounds fantastic. Well, Coach, thanks for joining us and giving us some interesting and valuable insight into your coaching process. And don't forget, sports fans, at B-Ball Breakdown, we're not a channel, we're a conversation. You win? You win, Coach?
I'm in.